For the last 500 million years, Earth has been facing 5 mass extinction events that is rapidly vanishing animals from the planet. The word vanish that I mentioned has a literal meaning. Vanish, gone, extinct, you name it. Okay, let me explain this to you real quick to get a better idea of this 5 mass extinction. The first mass extinction event is the Ordovician Silurian that wiped out approximately 85% of all species and caused by global cooling. And then there's the Devonian, wiped out 75% or 3/4 of the world's species. The third one, or the Permian, or known as the Great Dying, as the largest and the most devastating event of the 5, eradicated more than 95% of all species. 96% of all marine species and the world's forests are wiped out and didn't come back in force until about 10 million years later. The Permian was caused by global warming and volcanic gases that left animals unable to breathe. Fourth, the Triassic wiped out about 80% species, including our favorite animal, dinosaurs, due to huge and widespread volcanic eruptions. The fifth, the Cretaceous mass extinction. Many scientists believe that there was collision of a large asteroid or comet 10 to 15 kilometer wide, killing 78% of all species. 85%, 95%, 75%. What is the big deal about those numbers? How big is it? To get a better idea of species that you, me, and the entire living human beings on this planet is one species named Homo sapiens. Even though I said earlier that there was 5 mass extinctions, this doesn't mean that there won't be the 6th one. The question is, when? Are we facing the 6th mass extinction that would wipe out the entire species just like the previous? Given the current state of the environment, the most likely answer is sadly yes. We are definitely going through the 6th mass extinction. The previous mass extinctions most likely caused by natural causes like volcanoes or even asteroids and comets. But the next one is special. The Holocene, name of the 6th mass extinction, is a result of human activity. Do you notice that weather nowadays is so extra? The dry season is too hot or too dry, and the wet season it rains more heavily and causing more flooding in many areas. This extreme weather is the result of climate change, one of the greatest threats to Earth that may cause the 6th mass extinction. Sea levels are rising, glaciers are melting, or even increase in wildfires. It has become clear that human is behind all of this by releasing heat-trapping gases called greenhouse gases or GHG. But that doesn't mean that GHG have just emerged recently because of human actions. Many GHG occur naturally in the atmosphere. Without the atmosphere and its natural greenhouse gases, Earth's surface is not livable. But their levels are higher now than any time in the last 800,000 years. No natural causes like volcanic activity or emissions from decaying vegetation can explain the extreme increase of GHG in the atmosphere. But humans can. Initially, it started from the human desire to make life more practical, which made the Industrial Revolution happen. Since the onset of the Industrial Revolution back in 1733, there are over 50% or the half of the total increase in atmospheric carbon dioxide. Indonesia, our country, is also affected by the climate change. The capital city of Indonesia, Jakarta, also a megacity of 10 million people, is sinking due to combination of rising sea levels from global warming and land subsidence from the over-extraction of groundwater. Not only affected by the climate change, fun fact, Indonesia is one of the world's largest emitters of GHG. Sidoarjo Lapindo mud flow, the result of an erupting mud volcano in Indonesia, is the world's largest contributor to methane gas emissions, one of the GHG. Yet, we rarely hear about government efforts to reduce these effects of this issue. Actually, Indonesian government has done something. In its nationally determined contributions, or NDC, they committed to addressing the impact of climate change by setting emissions reduction targets between 29% below a business as usual or BAU scenario and a conditional 41% below the same BAU with international support by 2030. They also implementing adaptation measures toward a low carbon and climate resilient future. Okay, remember these numbers, 29% and 41%. They're huge numbers since 1% of 1 million is 10,000. Okay, reducing to 21% and 41%, it's a huge target. That's a big target. What about the effort? Only target without realization is definitely not enough to tackle the climate change. Indonesian government should place heavier emphasis on it. As the excellent recommendation from World Resource Institute on their paper, How Can Indonesia Achieve Its Climate Change Mitigation Goal? To meet the target, Indonesian government should take more ambitious mitigation actions, starting with strengthening and extending the forest moratorium policy. It's really important. Restoring degraded forests and peatland because Indonesia is the lung of the earth. Implementing energy conservation efforts and focus on renewable energy development. By encouraging renewable energy development, Indonesia has the potential to bring thousands of green jobs to the market as the economy will grow and be the leader in sustainability effort. What a good idea, right? Public environmental campaign also an important effort to tackle the climate change by telling people to unite, change, and together fighting for the earth. Earth is really worth the fight. It's the only home for us, and there's no planet B that can replace our planet, our special planet. Acknowledging that climate change is not just the government responsibility, even though they are handling the vital decisions, but also the responsibility of business people, civil societies, including you, me, and the entire human on the planet. Time is running out, the climate is changing, so should we?